want to welcome everybody. My name is Nicole Smith. I am the event and communications coordinator at Spark. I was going to say here at Spark, but here is my home. For the purposes of this online webinar that's here at Spark. And we are so excited to have you guys join us today from wherever you are. This is such a great way for us to be able to be in community and to grow and learn together. And so we just welcome all of you. We are so thrilled to have Alexandra Morinello join us today. She is the founder of Champagne and Tequila, which is an interesting name for a business. And she is here to talk to you guys about optimizing your social media. And so I'm just going to hand it over to Alexandra, and you take it over from here.
Awesome, thank you. Oh,
I was going to say there will be Q&As, but if throughout the thing you wanted to raise your hands for question, if it's like really burning on the inside, you can do that by going at the bottom of your screen where it says Manage Participants. If you click that, you'll see there's a function to be able to raise your hand. So if you do that, I'll be keeping an eye on that, and you know, we'll manage it that way, but there will be Q&A at the end of the presentation as well. So there you go. Okay, I'm done now.
No worries. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I sent my kids away so I get some time to hang out with you guys. Today, we are going to go over optimizing your social media. And I think right now, especially in this time, social media is something that is really, really important. And it's something that, you know, if done properly, can really help your business right now. I know that, you know, I'm sure you've heard the pivoting word and, you know, changing things, kind of focusing on other aspects of your business that you can really promote right now. I don't know exactly what your individual businesses are, but if it's anything like mine, I know that we are still moving forward, but there's a lot of adjustment that needs to be done. So with my clients, we've just really been focusing on social media and really using that to connect and build the community. And I think that's really important to your optimization. So before we get started, I kind of want to give you an idea of who I am. So hi Nancy, I can only see you. Nicole gave me a little bit of an introduction. So my name is Alex Morinello. My full name is Alexandra. Most people call me Alex. I'm a mom of two, and I run Champagne and Tequila Digital, which is a digital marketing agency where we help small businesses in particular amplify and grow their business using social media and various digital marketing tactics and tools. So I started my career in public relations, and it really quickly became something that, you know, I saw a niche in social media, and it was something that I could do remotely. And I just kind of always had clients, and it just turned into something awesome. So now that I'm fully self-employed, I really believe that, you know, what sets me apart from some people is that I've worked with everything and anything. And I think that really helps me understand every business that comes to me. I've worked with everything from like lawn care services to baby hair accessories, slime, coffee, kind of everything in between. And what I've really noticed that is similar in all of the clients that I've worked with is their strategy and their optimization is all exactly the same method. It's just different people and different products. So today we are going to talk about which platforms you should be on, optimizing your platforms. We're going to focus on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and I will explain why. We're going to go through hashtags and how to use them more specifically on Instagram. And then we're going to talk about the perfect post, I like to call it, and some content tips. And then of course, we're going to have some questions. I'd love to know what else you want to know. And maybe we can address some of your burning questions or struggles that you're having right now. So why social media is important to marketing. I know that, you know, traditional marketing, digital marketing, email marketing, there's so much when it comes to marketing, but why social media? So for me, social media is a very powerful tool because like any other form of marketing, it is the face of your business. It is the first point of contact. And in many cases, it is the customer service aspect of your business as well. I work with a couple of different clients that are very product-based and have their customer service is just booming on their social media because of their demographic especially, and people nowadays are just not picking up the phone to call anymore, or they don't want to wait for an email. They would rather just hop onto Facebook, send a chat, hop on Twitter, send another tweet or complain about something and kind of get a response as soon as possible. And that can be a challenge if you don't have things set up properly. So this is really focusing on optimizing that so it can kind of work in that way for you. So I think what also truly sets social media apart is our access to data. So whether you're running ads or just communicating with your target market, your data is so important, and it's something that you don't really get to see as much in your traditional marketing forms. Your ease of adjustment in messaging is also, especially right now, we touched on it, that adjusting the way that you're, speaking to people and your messaging and the way that you're marketing, and it's just so fast and so easy to adjust when needed. I've seen some advertisements out even on TV. I don't have cable, but we still get ads. And for some toilet paper commercials and travel agencies, and it's kind of awkward to see some of the ads that are out there because it's not relevant right now, but they're 6 week or so lead time. 6 weeks ago, we weren't in the position that we are now. So with social media, it's awesome that you can literally delete the post that you had, post something different, or change the ones that you had scheduled. It's so easy. It's just about making sure that your messaging and the optimization is, set up properly. So I did touch on this. So your connection with your target market, I'm sure as an entrepreneur or a business owner, you've heard the niche word many times, and, finding that niche, finding your target market, and being able to connect with that target market so easily is really, really important. And it's also so easy with social media. It's just making sure that you are open and you are, approaching that target market properly and in a way that they are understanding of what you're doing. So what I mean by this, I guess, is by using tools like Facebook and Instagram stories, you could put out a poll and say, hey, on Saturday, we're going to offer a new flavor of ice cream at our shop. We're thinking banana split ice cream, or I don't know, something like vanilla bean. And you can put that poll out there and see what people want. And you could get those responses and see where, your audience is leaning. And that's why it's really important to have that communication and connection with your target market. And social media is how you can really, get in there. It's a great way to communicate. It's a great way to ask questions, and it's a great way to get opinions on things that you are struggling with, or maybe, leaning in different directions of what you want to do with people, or with your products for people. So why do you even need to optimize? You've got your Facebook page, you've got your Instagram profile. What more could you possibly do? So now more than ever, your time is valuable. So if you're going to put the effort into posting and managing your social media, you might as well get something back from it. You're also treating this as a marketing tool. So you don't want to just put it out there without a purpose, and you're not going to get anything back from it. I am just like you, and everything I invest in, I want something back from. I only have so much time, I only have so much money, and I only have so much, BS that I can put up with. So I'm trying to put something out there that's going to come back to me and really give me something valuable in return. When you have your profiles set up properly, they will ultimately work for you. I like to say that they kind of work as like a concierge or a customer service agent. And if you have the proper information, they can really either weed out or attract the right people really quickly. And when you have them set up and have a system set up properly, you can attract them, give them the information they need, and then you can have them set up a call or book an appointment or buy something without even having to talk to them. And not that you don't want to talk to them, but I mean, sometimes if you can have an automatic sale, why not? Your credibility and your brand reputation. So your brand and business image is conveyed in what you put out there. When you're dealing with a more traditional business, it can be really difficult to feel like you're not moving with the times, or you're not, as cool as these younger brands are, but you are, and people are interested in what you're doing. The way to do that is to connect with them, show what you're doing, and build that credibility through connection and community. Okay, so this is always the first question that I get from people. And it's like, how do I know where to post? Shouldn't I be on every single post? Should I be on TikTok? Should I be on Pinterest? And to me, the answer is you need to be on platforms that you will be active on. If you are not going to be active on them, or you don't plan on outsourcing your social media management or digital marketing or whatnot, you won't be active. And being consistent and being active in a world where there's like billions of pieces of content shown to us every single day, you're just going to get lost and it's not going to do anything for you. So you're going to pick platforms that you want to be active on, even if your target market isn't like fully active on them. If you are, people will pay attention. And that being said, you also want to pick, you know, platforms that people are going to pay attention on. I had someone come to me about a week ago that asked me about Google Plus, and I kindly had to say, listen, Google Plus was shut down last year in about April. So maybe don't be active on that because it's not even a real platform anymore. And I'm not totally sure how you're even being active. So figure out how, you know, you can be active while also targeting your demo and being where they are. And how you can kind of figure out where they are is think about your target demographic. You know who your niche is, you know who wants your product, you know who uses your business services, and what do those people do? You know, if they aren't on social media, what's the first place that you could, you know, attract them or be in their mix? And that is kind of where I would suggest to start. So we are going to talk about Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And these are the ones that I always suggest to people. You don't need to do all of them, but if you are going to do any, these are the 3 that I would start with. Here's why. Facebook still holds a major value when it comes to marketing. It is truly the foundation of, you know, your ads. It's connected to Instagram. It is connected to stores. You can do shopping. You can run groups. Like there's just so much you can do on it that if you don't have it, I mean, first of all, it limits your abilities to run ads and have a business page on Instagram. So it kind of makes you do it, but it's also just a great place to connect. It also allows you to, you know, separate certain things so that you have, you know, your personal page and your professional page and then your groups. And it doesn't all have to totally intertwine, but you can adjust how much it intertwines to your comfortability, I guess is the best way to explain it. So Instagram as well is a very robust platform. It's provides the ability for you to go live. It provides the ability for you to post stories. You can post feed posts. You can share a variety of content. You can repurpose a lot of the content that you post on there. And it's a great way to connect with your audience. There's so many ways to, you know, DM, comments. When you're live, they can participate and you can go live with other people. So it's really a great platform. And it's also awesome to use hashtags and local tags to connect with other people in your area. So then LinkedIn. So to me, LinkedIn, if you have a job, you want a career, you want a business, you do anything that involves you making money in some way, LinkedIn is a great place to be on. Some of my biggest leads ever and some of my longest clients have come from LinkedIn, and LinkedIn itself is just a great place to position yourself as the expert that you are, position yourself as the, you know, professional that you are, and really give people an insight into why what you're doing matters and why who you are is important. Okay, so we are going to start with Facebook. So managing and optimizing your Facebook presence, to me, is divided into 3 separate categories. So it's your personal profile, your business page, and then groups. So we're going to start off with your personal profile, which is just kind of where you want to keep your personal stuff. I see a lot of people trying to do business on their personal page, and some of the issues that I've run into personally is that you kind of don't have that boundary. You know, people are messaging you all the times of the day. They're commenting on things, and then you have clients that maybe like you don't work with them anymore, and they still like your stuff, comment on your stuff, and you can't really like separate. I also find that some clients feel if they share something on their personal page and their clients were assuming they were working on something, that, you know, you feel that pressure to always be on. So I would keep that as personal as possible, and maybe sharing from your business page some highlights or some exciting things that you have happening in that way. And then your business page. So I think you need a business page, especially for your reviews, for your SEO. It's searchable. You can share so much information and content on there. It's easy to share links. It's easy to then share other content that people have shared of your business. And it ultimately ads if you are going to run them down the road. And it's kind of the only way that you can have a business account on Instagram as well. So it's just required. And then groups. Groups are something that can be incredibly powerful and very, very community-based, but like easy to sell in and easy to, have a warm, comfortable lead magnet community. The problem is that it's a lot of work at first. And so if you're starting out, I wouldn't recommend to dive into a group unless you already have some people that you want to, connect. It's something that you want to nurture and you want to provide content with. We see so much on social media all day long. And there's so many things that I'm sure you've even scrolled through your Facebook and thought, wow, I didn't even see that post from that person. And that's just because it hasn't been as active, it hasn't been as frequent, and you just haven't seen it. So today we are going to focus on your Facebook business page. I've just used mine as an example because I don't want to expose anyone right now. And so the first thing that we're going to start with is making sure that you've customized your vanity URL. So one of the, I don't want to call it an issue, but something that we kind of overlook is when we first create a Facebook page, it can sometimes give us an automated URL. So it would say facebook.com/ and then either a bunch of numbers and letters, and it says user or something like that. Sometimes it doesn't generate the what they're calling username the way that we would like it to. And so you want something that is easily searchable. It's your business or maybe your group or whatnot, just something that people are able to search really easily, remember, and they don't have to try and find it. It's also good when other people are posting things and they're going to tag you in it. You want to be easily searchable. There are so many similar businesses when I'm trying to share things that it's hard to know which one, and then you end up tagging something that's not the right business, and then it's really awkward and they're like, why did you tag me in this? It has nothing to do with me. So something to note, they have changed this a couple of times, whether you can change it a bunch of times or just once, but currently you can only change it one time, at least within 30 days. So be cautious when you are changing it. And so what I mean by changing it is making sure that your username, so where it says @champagne and tequila, would be your facebook.com/ champagne and tequila, and you want that vanity URL just for the ease of sharing and finding and whatnot. Okay, so I went through that. Now we're going to go through how to do that. If you need to change it, or let's say you're changing your business, for example, you don't need to totally change the page right now. Keep on that because Facebook loves to change things every day. But if you need to change that, go to the About on your business page, go to General, and then immediately when it pops up, it'll be right there to change it. And that's pretty much it. You just click Edit, change it. And I think it might take about 3 or 4 days sometimes to process through. Something to keep in mind when you do change it is that all of your other links will not work. So that's why you need to do this as soon as possible, because it's not just going to redirect, it's going to send them to a page that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so just to kind of go through some key points of your Facebook page in order to, make sure it's filled out, it's optimized, you've got all the things that people want to see. We're going to start out with your profile picture. So if possible, have your face. People love to connect with faces. When you're walking down the street, you don't connect with a logo, you connect with a face. And it's really important to make sure that the face that you are putting out there is a great, clear picture. Try not to have anyone else in it unless they work with you. And just keep it very business without being, I guess I have a wine glass in my hand, but keep it a little more professional, right? Then make sure you filled out your bio and your about section. People want to know what you're doing. They want to know if what you're doing is relevant, and they want to know who you are. If they come to your page and they're like, what are you doing? I struggle with that as well. My name doesn't directly tell you what I do, and I've chosen to not change that. So I have to kind of explain that. And that's fine. Just have a good description, something brief, something to the point, and make sure that that's filled out. Okay, so your cover photo is this photo over here, the big one at the top. It is not visible on your mobile. So I don't put precedence on it if you're not wanting to design something. I would just keep it something neutral, maybe your logo or your shop or something from your website, just something simple. Do we have?
Alexandra?
Yes.
We have one of our attendees said she tried to, I guess, customize her name change, and Facebook denied it.
Okay. So unfortunately, they might have made it that they're not going to allow you to, which means that you've done it one time before to create that page. And now what I would suggest to you is create a new page. I know that's like such a pain. Believe me, Facebook can sometimes be the bane of my existence with how they do things, because some days they allow things and some days they don't. What I would also do is maybe even send in a support ticket and explain like why you need to change it. And they might be a little more lenient to that. Yeah, I know I wasn't able to change. I wanted to add something else to mine and I wasn't able to because they said I did it one time. So
yeah. Something else just to keep in mind, and I know this just from something else that I'm involved in, is that right now a lot of the Facebook has a lot more automated stuff than they normally do, simply because of our current situation. They have less staff there, so they've automated a lot of their stuff, which means there's no people thought behind it. So some things are just happening because it's just the algorithms are reading it a certain way, kind of a thing. So just something to keep in mind.
No, that's totally the case. Especially right now, it's just, I guess they're just trying to eliminate as many people as possible, but it gets frustrating when you're just trying to get some answers. I hope that answers that.
She said thank you.
Okay. Okay, so I have a lot to cover. So I'm gonna move through here because these aren't like our core things, but they are things to make sure that we are keeping in mind. So your cover photo is, I think it's really important to have something either nice and aesthetic or something that can, act as a billboard for your business. It is not, as I mentioned, viewable on your mobile the same way. It's going to be really small. So don't put a bunch of text on it. Try and just keep it as neutral as possible. And it's not something that people are focusing on as much as you might think they are. So that's just simple. As long as you have something up there that looks really great, and you can use it as a billboard, but don't feel pressure to. Your next thing is your services. You can put all the services that you offer, or even the products that you offer. You can set up your store, people can purchase things. Having that, I have services, how much they cost, and then you can book right there. So it can really be a storefront for you if you are interested in doing that. And then having a call to action. So over on the side, there is a blue bar that says contact us. And that can say a bunch of different things. So it can say sign up now, book now, shop now, whatever you want it to say. Having something in there is a great way to collect leads, guide people to where you want them to go, and just always have something for them to click on and move forward. And then of course your contact information. If we can't reach you, we're never going to buy from you. So like, give us a way to contact you, okay? Okay, now, why isn't this letting me go? Here we go. Okay, so your location and your hours are also really important. Even if you are someone who is working from home and you don't really have hours, just put something that shows when you want to be communicated, because otherwise you're going to get messages all day, every day. And if you really keep that, set, then people will be able to know when to communicate with you and when not. And then your link to your website, have access to reviews, and your auto chat if you feel necessary. The auto chat is something that when you come to your page, it will pop up and say like, hey, how's it going? Here's, a couple of initial questions. that is something that I would hold off on unless you set it up properly, because it can become really annoying and people don't love the bots. However, if you have something that is like an initial question that says, are you looking for this or this? It is good to guide people using that. Okay, let's take a breath. We are going to move into Instagram as a business profile. So Instagram business profiles are connected to your Facebook page, which is why we are talking about this right now. They will be connected for a variety of reasons. So your right under the name section, it says entrepreneur. You can change it to small business, service, whatnot, your category. That will be connected to your Facebook page, which is why you need that Facebook page. And it will also connect any shopping tabs that you have as well. So if you are a store that wants to sell products on your Instagram, you are also going to need that Facebook page. Okay, so your Instagram business profile, some people don't want to have the business profile. They'd rather, you know, keep a personal one, but I believe that the business profile is just, it gives you so many options. I don't see why you wouldn't. So the major benefits of the business profile are that you have insights. So you're able to see, you know, how your post is performing, who is seeing your posts and when they're seeing your posts, which is really important to making sure that you're posting at times that are, you know, peak for your audience and when they're actually going to see them. And then you can even see your demographics. So where is your audience coming from? If you're a local business and you have a bunch of followers coming from who knows where, then maybe you need to adjust things. It could be your hashtags, it could be the location that you're not tagging. There's a variety of reasons, but those insights will give you that insight into what you're doing. The business profile also gives you the option to have the buttons at the top of your profile. And those buttons, honestly, when I put the book button at the top of my profile, I got so many bookings for calls and discovery calls and just people wanting to book some type of appointment because I made it really easy for people to do it. They didn't have to scroll through. They didn't have to click another link. They just clicked on that button. And if you do click it, it'll take you to my Acuity booking and you can book right on there and you're good. So those buttons are really awesome and they are only available on the business profile. And then for the business profile, promoting posts when needed. So if you have a post that's doing really well, or you have a specific event or sale or something coming up, being able to promote those posts to a specific audience is a really great option. Not necessarily what you need to do every time. I would actually recommend not doing that every time, but when relevant, it is really good. I guess I did mention that you will need a Facebook business page in order to make your Instagram a business profile. So that is why they need to be connected. Okay, so let's go through optimizing your Instagram business profile. So remember when we talked about, you know, having your profile work for you and acting kind of as a concierge, as a customer service agent, as a director of, you know, your business and where you want people to go. These are kind of the elements that will help you do that. So first and foremost, your handle. So you need something to be easily accessible. I know that sometimes our names are taken or a version of our business name is taken, but if and when possible, trying to keep that name all one without any underscores or periods would be awesome. Even if you have to add a location at the end of it to make sure that you have that name, I think that that's really important and it makes it easy to search and tag you down the road. Your name. So the name section of your Instagram profile is searchable and it is SEO friendly, not only on Google, but on your Instagram as well. So when people search digital marketing, for example, I will come up in the search. And so you want to, although you want to use your name and, you know, you're just the celebrity that you are, until you are that celebrity, no one really cares and no one's really searching your name. So I advise you to put your name there if you are the main person running the page. However, I would definitely choose your keyword, key title, whatnot, and put that in that name so that it is searchable when people are looking for things. You know, Instagram is being used now as a search engine more than ever, and it's really great if you can come up in those searches. So your help statement. So the bio portion of your Instagram is very small. It does not have a ton of characters. So you want to make sure that you have a simple statement that explains who you are, what your business does, and who you help, and kind of what the transformation that people are expecting when they go through your services or buy your products or whatnot. And I know what you're thinking if you're someone who, you know, doesn't do something that transforms people. But even if you do jewelry or you are an esthetician or whatnot, it's still something that you are doing for people, and there is something that they are getting from you. That's something that if you ever needed help on, feel free to reach out and we can totally walk through that. But that's something that I would put in your profile as well. And then your website. Your website is something that is really important on Instagram because it is your only clickable link on Instagram. You can put an HTML or HTTP, whatever the link in your post, but it won't be clickable. I see a lot of people doing it, and part of me wants to say, hey, don't do that because we can't click it. But the way that you can kind of get around that is by using link pages. So a link page is what you would put in that section in your bio to have multiple links on one page. I do this on my website, but people can do this. There's apps like Link in Bio, Linktree, whatnot. I do it on my website just because it's easier for me. And I like to keep some consistent links in there. So working with me, joining my Facebook group, listening to my podcast, booking a chat, services, whatnot, you want to put your links that you would always be linking people to so that you're not constantly changing the link in your bio and it hosts a ton of information all in one spot. Okay, and then your location. So I know that for everyone, this is a little bit different, but if you are a local business or you can help people locally in any way, it is really important to put that location in there. I also find that being from Niagara Falls, people find it to be this awesome conversation point. So people are like, wow, you're from Niagara Falls? Like, I didn't know people even lived there. And it's awesome because it starts that initial conversation without it being something that you have to like start on a sales point or whatnot. So including that location, if you feel comfortable, obviously don't put like your actual home address, but your city can, or the nearest biggest city can also be really effective. And then your buttons. So we talked about our buttons. I love our buttons. And your buttons are something that you want to make sure you have optimized and clickable. So when you do click them, they are leading to something that you want to actually lead people to, and having them up there. So if you have things that people can buy, like products or like a workshop, or you can even add like buying tickets or something like that, put that in there. Even if you want to just have people connect to your email, I put that in there as well because people want to send me an email. Awesome. They click it, they do it, it's one step, and they don't have to click a bunch of other things to get to a bunch of other pages, get lost, and then you've lost them. So those buttons can be really important as well. And then your highlights. Okay, so highlights are something that I like to use as tabs on a website. Your highlights are created through the stories that you share, and you can add them to specific categories that you create at the top. So let's say you had an event or you have something specific that you want to showcase. If you have, you know, menu items or services, or if you've gotten like a lot of reviews from your clients or whatnot, it's a great place to kind of put all that at the top. You basically want to create your Instagram business profile to be this bombarding of information that when people click on it, they're like, wow, there's so much that I can learn from this person. You know, they helped me do this. They have a website with all this information. I can immediately buy their stuff or book an appointment, and then look at all these highlights of information that I can just get lost in, learn a bunch from, whatnot. So that's really your Instagram business profile. It's a lot, but once you have it, like, you're really going to be able to set people up to visit you and immediately book. You've weeded out people that are not interested. You've connected with people that are interested. And I think it's so awesome. Like, Instagram is just my home. Okay, so let's do something fun. I am a huge fan of Instagram stories. And Instagram stories are something that I think people are either a little lost on, not really sure what to share, or they're just afraid to get on, which I totally understand. So let's try something together. If you do have your phone, and you're not using it to watch this, I'm not sure how you're watching it, but I know that I watch my Zoom calls on my phone as well. So if you're not, pull out your phone, because I want to show you a couple of things when it comes to Instagram stories. So Instagram stories, like I mentioned, I guess at the very beginning, was something that I loved when they started to share polls and started to share the ability to ask questions and get opinions on things, because then I was able to not show my face, ask, this or that, and get information from people. But I also just love Instagram stories for sharing, what I'm doing in my day, what's happening, and the behind the scenes of things. So if you have your phone, I can't see any of you, I wish I could, but I would love you to pull out your phone. And if you do have Instagram already on your phone, let's go into Instagram and let's create a story. So I am just going to pull out my phone here, and I'm just going to take a picture of what's happening here. And this is what I have. This is what it looks like. We are going to optimize our Instagram story, because this is kind of where Instagram stories are great. However, they can get totally lost if you're not giving them the power that they deserve and that you really want them to have. So I've taken this picture. That's great. Now what do I do? So you want to, first and foremost, I'm going to add a little filter. Add your location. So when you add your location into your story, there are location stories that happen for local cities and probably your major cities as well. You might get categorized into those specifically. But when you do that, you'll be able to possibly get pulled into those. It'll also help people say, oh, wow, you're located here. Or if you are traveling, whenever we get to travel again, it's great to show where you are, and people are always interested in that. We are a nosy community and society, and anything we can learn about you, we want to know. And that's why we need to have kind of control over that. But, so I've added my location. I'm then going to add, so right now Instagram has this stay home button, which I've been using on a lot of my stories. And that is awesome because it loops you into the stay home story. And so it's just helping promote people to stay home. We're in a time where we need to be home. So that is just fun and encouraging. And then this is something else that I'm going to show you really quickly, is how to hide hashtags in your Instagram story. So hashtags are something that we are going to be touching on very soon here, and they are so powerful when you use them right. When it comes to your story, you also want to use them because it just helps your reach just grow so much farther. You get put into the categories that you want to be in and in front of more eyes, of people that are interested in similar content to what you have. So when it comes to hiding them, there's a few different ways that you can do this. And what I'm going to do is, let's just choose another, this like button. Okay, so we're going to make this bigger, and then we are going to take the type tool and we are going to put in our hashtags. So I'm just going to use social media. So a tip with hashtags in your story that I will teach you the opposite in a minute is that you want to use the biggest, most popular hashtags that you can come up with. the ones that have the most uses, so 1 million plus, and something that is relevant to what you're showing. So I'm going to use social media, Niagara Falls, and I'm just going to use 2. You can use up to 10, but you don't really have to. If you don't want to, I just always encourage to use whatever is feeling relevant. So what I'm going to show you here, I wish this was on the actual screen, is you're going to take this text and, oh, it just did it. So if you have an image that you can put behind, or an emoji, or a GIF or something like that, you can just hide those hashtags right on your story. And why that matters is because no one wants to see a big bunch of hashtags unless it's something related to, you know, your brand or your business or what you're promoting. So it's just a really good way to, you know, get your content in the right hashtags and be able to share that. So if you've done that, I wish I could see you guys. Let me see who's here. Okay. Then once you've done that, I would love for you to post a story if you feel comfortable and tag me so that I can share it, and keep on sharing stories. Stories are awesome because they only last for 24 hours. So if you post something that you're just like, it doesn't really fit my brand, but it's something fun, it'll be gone in 24 hours unless you choose to share it to your highlights, which in order to, let's do this. So in order to save something to your highlights, you will go into the story that you just shared, and hold on, it is uploading. There's a button at the bottom and it says highlight. You will tap that and then you can choose the highlights. If you don't already have one, you can click new or tap new and then create a new highlight. And you can create highlight covers, you can put a picture on that. That's a whole other thing in itself, but it is awesome for categorizing your stories. All right, we are going to move on here because I still have so much to cover and I feel like our time is coming to an end here. Okay, so hello.
Hi. Oh, no, nothing. Just letting
Okay.
you know that we are at 1:45.
Okay. Okay, so we went through this, we geotagged, okay, so something else to mention is when you are talking in your stories, you're talking, but most people aren't going to turn their sound on. They're also watching it in a place that they probably don't want to listen to your voice. They might be in a public place, they can't hear it. If you caption your stories by, you know, using the text tool and just putting in a few of the key points that you're mentioning, you don't need to put all of the things that you're saying. That's a lot to put in a story, but just some key points, then people are a little bit more inclined to open up, listen, and continue on what you are saying to them. Oh man, I found this tickle in my throat. Okay, we went through fun stickers. All right, let's talk about hashtags because I love hashtags, and hashtags are really important to optimizing your posts on Instagram in particular. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. A very important aspect of Instagram is the hashtags, and hashtags can sometimes be something that are used wrong, and then people feel like they're not getting the results from them, so they don't feel like using them anymore, or they're being used improperly, so they're putting their content in the wrong hashtags, and therefore you're starting to attract, you know, bots or spam accounts, and you're not growing your direct content, or sorry, your direct community with the content that you're providing. So something that I like to really encourage people to use are niche hashtags. So niche hashtags versus popular hashtags are just that they are under 200,000 uses. They are very community-based and very, very relevant to the hashtags that, or to the content that you are putting out there. So hashtags help categorize what you are putting out there, whether it be a video, your pictures, your stories, whatnot. It's just helping categorize your content, and it's helping put it into feeds that are going to attract people who have also used those hashtags, or content that is involved in those hashtags as well. So the way that the algorithm works is it feeds the content that you've produced into the hashtags, and then shows that to people who have used those hashtags or engaged in content that has used those hashtags. So you want to make sure that the hashtags are relevant, because if you're just posting things because it looks like other people are getting, you know, better engagement with those hashtags, you're going to attract people that it doesn't matter to. Like, they're just not going to care about your content, and therefore your engagement is going to go down, and you're going to be sad, and then you're going to feel discouraged, and we just don't want that, right? So how to do hashtag research. I like to do it on my desktop, and then I have my phone open and I use my notes app. And the reason why I use my notes app is because then I'm able to copy and paste the hashtags and the recipe that I, you know, design, and I can use those depending on what posts I'm posting. Now, something to remember is to not use the same hashtags every single time. Hashtags are a big trigger in the spam section of things. It really says to Instagram, hey, you know, these people want more views on their page, and spammers love to use that. So we want to do it in the right way, and we're doing that by using, first of all, relevant content, or relevant hashtags to our content, and hashtags that are changing up for each piece of content, because not every piece of content is going to have the same hashtags, and it's also not going to require the same categorization. So when you open up your Instagram on your desktop, you can do it on your phone as well. You will search the first hashtag. So let's say you searched social media. What it's going to give you is related hashtags to the tag that you've searched. And those hashtags are hashtags that people have already used on the posts that are similar to what you're sharing. So I don't think you need to just copy and paste and use those related ones, because if you really look at them, they're not always going to be exactly what you want to share for your personal post, but it's a great way to see what other people are using to tag their posts with. So a couple of things to think about when you're choosing hashtags are to look on the tags and make sure that the content that people are sharing in those tags is relevant to what you're sharing. If you are, you know, using a hashtag that you think is relevant to what you're doing, and you click on it and you see it's like not, then it's just not going to perform well. For example, if you're going to share a picture of your dog and you're going to use a hashtag, and when you go into that hashtag, there's just a bunch of those quote images, it's not going to perform very well. So there's no point in using that tag, right? You want to use tags that are going to put it in front of people that actually care, and in the right streams. Another thing to look at are tags banned. Up until recently, hashtag Easter was banned, and so was hashtag Mother's Day, because people put content in them, and as soon as there is content that people don't want to see, they flag it, and before anything, Instagram will shut that tag down, and then you can't use it. So if you're using a bunch of banned tags, again, it's like hashtags are like coins, and you don't want to spend your coins on something that's not going to give you anything back in return. And then just if you want to be in that feed, you know, you have to make sure that the content that you're putting out there is relevant to what you're doing. Is, you know, if it's your family photos, you don't want it in something inappropriate. So just be cautious of that. Okay, so a few rules to think about are use all 30 if possible. Don't feel like you need to. You want to make sure that the content that you are putting out there is obviously relevant and the tags are relevant. So if you feel like you only need 15, that's fine. Just do that. I like to post my first, my set of hashtags and my first comment. It's just aesthetically pleasing. And I like to post them as soon as I posted, right in that first comment, in order to be timely, and get things in the feed. So this is kind of the recipe that I use when I'm looking for my hashtags in terms of niche and what I want to do with them. So this is where I would kind of stay. Again, you don't have to use all 30 if you feel like you're pulling teeth. I'd rather you just only use the ones that feel relevant.
Just so you know, we are now at the 7-minute mark. Perfect.
We're just going to cover LinkedIn really quickly. It doesn't really take much, but it is really effective. So LinkedIn, I kind of separate it between our personal profile and our business page. I am going to really quickly go over your business page because it's something I think you need, and it's good for employees to be able to tag their employment, and it's great for sharing information, but it's also not something that I would spend all of your time on. If you post once or twice a week, or if you don't even feel like you can post that much, that's fine. Just when things are relevant, it's great as more of like a placeholder and a place to constantly go like pull information from, not necessarily your go-to. When it comes to LinkedIn, people want the real person. They want to connect with you. They want to see your accomplishments, see what you're doing with your business and what your business is doing. So you can always refer to your business, but they really want to connect with you. So for this, I'm going to use my friend De Niro. He's also a mentor of mine. And I just kind of wanted to go through some key points of what to make sure you have in your LinkedIn profile, because again, it's something that I don't think we're all using, or to the extent that we could be. And these are just some points to really make sure that you have in order for it to be optimized. So make sure you have a great profile picture. On LinkedIn, it can still be fun. Just keep it professional. Try and not have any other people in the picture, because you know, it's your name, it's your profile. Just have you. Your name, your real name. This is not where I would put your business, a nickname, anything like that. You know, we are just trying to know who you are, and especially if you are in, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, if people are looking for someone to do something, whether it's doing like a presentation or consulting for them or whatnot, if they're looking for someone, they want your name. They want to be able to find you really easily. What you do, explaining that can really, you know, help people get a better idea of what your business is all about. And your business. So your business page is great because you can then tag it in there. And it's a great, you know, plane there. So you have your picture, your name, what you do, and then this is the business you do that for. And then when it comes to your banner on LinkedIn, this is where I would really use it as a billboard. Show us what you do. You know, he's been mentioned in a few different magazines and platforms. And then he explains like what he does. And he says, you know, right in the middle, reach out. Give them something to come to. And LinkedIn is a great way to connect with people. So you might as well give them that initial connection. A few other things to make sure that you have in your LinkedIn profile are your work experience, your skills, and your endorsements. Your work experience can be absolutely anything. It doesn't matter what you've done. It doesn't matter if it's not relevant to what you're doing now. If you've done it, do it, because people will find it interesting and they will want to connect with you on something. Like, even if you worked at McDonald's, put that you worked at McDonald's. You don't know who else worked at McDonald's. It's a very good job. Like, you know, and your skills, putting those skills in there and then getting those endorsed is really important to making sure that people see how important they are. And that's pretty much it. I did have a little bit on content, but I think we covered a lot today. And I think that you got a good idea of, you know, really how to optimize your profiles and how important it can be when you have them lined up and set up and optimized, that it can really be this tool that works for you without having to constantly, you know, put more into it.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Alex. This has been very informative. Now, we only have like a couple of, literally about 3 minutes.
Okay.
And does anybody have any questions? Okay, here we go. Super interested more in the content aspect of social media, if you would be willing to do another one. So look at that. You've already got a comeback request.
Okay. If you say so.
Well, it is something we actually do have a webinar coming up in a couple of weeks on content with a gentleman by the name of Carmen. So he will be doing that. So you want to keep an eye on that.
Awesome.
And we do have another webinar next week, and that one is on managing working remotely in a digital world. So, yeah, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that. Any other questions real quick? I don't see anything.
Great.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you, Alex,
Hello.
again for the plethora of information. Wait a minute. Did somebody say something? No?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, I did. Hello.
Oh, hi, Stephanie.
hi.
I can't type that fast. Before you leave, I wanted to know, what are your thoughts on using apps to enhance your Instagram? For example, like the app Plan, PLANN.
Yeah, okay, so those kind of apps I think are really great. I personally use the one called Later. I've kind of gone through all of them, just testing what their different features are. Something like Plan, there's Planoly, there's one called Unum, so it's UNUM, and those are really great for planning out your feed. You know, if you're someone who is
Right.
visually interested in making sure that it looks good or that it, you know, is balanced out, I think it's really important. It's also really great to have your captions. If your captions are in there, then you're able to put them in, edit them, and then they're already there, they're already ready, and you don't have to go back to it. When it comes to auto posting, I don't see anything wrong with auto posting as long as you are not doing any bot engagement, because then it's just triggered as spam. So you can totally have it auto post for you. Just make sure that before, about 15 minutes before you post and 15 minutes after you post, you do some kind of natural engagement.
Wow. What if you're posting like at 6 or 5 in the morning for the early birds? I have to wake up 15 minutes before?
Not necessarily. I think if you are engaged with your audience, your audience
Okay.
is going to, you know, pay attention. I just think that if you want to boost it a little bit, I mean, engagement, because of the algorithm, as long as you're doing it sometime in the day and
Okay.
you're connecting with
Perfect.
your people,
Perfect.
that'll work.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. And I think that's pretty much it. Alex, if anybody's got any questions, they can reach out to you through social media, I take it?
Yes, please. Yeah. If you wanted to send me a message at Champagne and Tequila, I'm on there more than I'd like to admit. So I'm there if you need it.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, Alex, so much.